Welcome to another interesting episode of Legal Tips by Lawyer Grace. I am Lawyer Grace. Yes, it's been today. I'll be talking about legal perspective as regards the death of Sylvester Oromoni, the student of Dowen College in Lekki. One of the students of Dowen College in Lekki that was beaten to death, or that was tortured to death by some of his acclaimed seniors. Emotions are flying everywhere. It is quite emotional. It is not an easy period both for the parents, the families, and the friends of Sylvester at the moment, and even Nigerians generally, especially parents. It is quite disturbing now at this particular moment. So may the soul of Sylvester rest in perfect peace. So what I really want to talk about this morning, I want to talk about this morning is in relation to the legal perspective. What is the legal tips in the whole scenario that played out as regards the circumstances that led to his death? Before the death of Sylvester Oromoni, we got to know that he said some things to his father. He said some things to his father on his sick bed while he was being taken care of by his parents before he died. And some of the things he said to his father was, he mentioned the names of the seniors that came to his room, the people that he claimed beat him up and they gave him some substance to take. Also, he mentioned how the scenario played out and everything that relates to the circumstances of his present situation before he passed on. What he mentioned to his father was how he was beaten and how he was also given a substance to take. Meanwhile, immediately after that, or a few hours after that, then he started having a lot of complications, both physically and in his body, which eventually led to his death. What I want to talk about is what is the effects of the things Sylvester said to his father. What Sylvester said to his father under the law is known as what? Is known as dying declaration. Dying declaration is when somebody is beginning to foresee that this situation might lead, or this circumstance might lead to his or her death, and the person has to speak, or the person decided to say the things that brought him or her to that particular circumstance. But Sylvester Oromoni already was beginning to sense that he might not survive the particular situation, so he mentioned the names of the acclaimed seniors that tortured him. He also mentioned everything that happened when he was being tortured and the substance he was given to take. Now, the next thing I will talk about is what is the admissibility of this under the law. Yes, there is something we call ESA, but this is not ESA at the moment. This is dying declaration. Dying declaration is admissible. It is specially admissible because the person concerned, which is Sylvester Oromoni, is dead. So one of the most important things the courts will rely on in this circumstance is the dying declaration that was made by Sylvester Oromoni before his death, by mentioning the names of those people. So justice wants to take its course, just like we all have been shouting justice for Sylvester Oromoni. For justice to take its course, we have to begin from taking a step by arresting or apprehending the said seniors that he claimed beating, that tortured him, that eventually led to his death. So they would be interviewed, investigation would be done on them, and would see their initial their initial attitude, things they've been doing in the past, people's comment, or what people have to say concerning them. That is also very important. However, the dying declaration of Sylvester, which he said to his father, which were the things he said to his father, it is very, very admissible in law. That is one aspect. Another aspect I want to talk about is, okay, who are the people that were around, that is eyewitness accounts, at the time of this incident? We were made to understand that when these students came into the room of Sylvester Oromoni, the other juniors were sent out. Lights was put off, the other juniors were sent out of the room when these things were happening. But the juniors that were sent out, they saw the faces of the people that came in. They saw how they left Sylvester before they went out, and they saw how they met Sylvester immediately. These people, the people that tortured him, immediately they left. So some of the pupils that stay, some of the students, I mean, that stay in the same room that Sylvester stays before the senior students came in, they are also very important to the success of the case of Sylvester. Some of them they witnessed, fine, they might not be there at the present moment, but they were there before and immediately after the exit of the eclipse, and they could see all the seniors, all the students that came in to torture or beat Sylvester. So the evidence of these other students, other junior students, is also very paramount for the success of the case of Sylvester. However, what you have noticed is that the dying declaration already made by Sylvester before his death is sufficient to nail this case, is sufficient for this case to succeed in the court of law if justice will really be done. So the next thing I want to talk about is electronically generated evidence. That is, what is the evidence that we can generate on internet since after this incident. A lot of things have sprang up online since after this incident. One of them is, I saw some charts of a junior student, not a video, some charts of a junior student that stated, he mentioned the names of the people that came in, which names also corroborates the name Sylvester mentioned before his death. He mentioned their names. He mentioned that he mentioned how they were tortured, how they tortured Sylvester. He mentioned that they were actually sent out, the lights was put off before the seniors did anything to Sylvester. Yes, the evidence of eyewitness is also very important at this particular time. So these charts, they were generated online. They can also be tendered, they can be printed and tendered as well as evidence in this case. Another thing I want to mention is, okay, what are the other evidences that we have online? Now, other evidences that we have online has to do with the evidence of some of the parents. Yes, I saw a video that has to do with Zoom meeting of the parents of students in Dowen University, where a mother also testified to the fact that her son was also beaten by these seniors. She said she just brought her son this last September, and her son was also tortured by this same senior. However, she was lucky enough that her son did not die. Also, she also mentioned the name of one Favor that Sylvester mentioned before his death. She mentioned that Favor was also part of the people that beat her son. Though she was lucky enough she didn't lose her son, but she also mentioned the name of Favor beforewards during this Zoom meeting. So those evidences come together. They are also very important to the success of the case of this matter. Another thing that is very important to the success of the case of Sylvester Oromoni is what we call the videos, the pictures, the videos of how Sylvester was extremely sick, how he was being carried about, the video of his face, the video of his mouth and of his body at the time he was being taken care of by his parents. That is also very, very important for the success of the case. The videos will be generated, it will be printed, they will all be compact together in a disc, and they will be tendered. Okay, so all those are what we call electronically generated evidence. These are also very important for the success of the case of Sylvester Oromoni. Yes, the things I mentioned, they are the things I see that they are very important, and if these things are brought together and tendered in evidence, in this case we have 95% assurance that we'll get justice concerning the case of Sylvester. I pray that the Lord will comfort the family of Sylvester. I pray that Sylvester will rest in peace. Please remember to like, subscribe, and click on the notification button on my YouTube channel. As usual, I am Gloria Grace. It's nice having you. Bye. Thank you for listening.